Tell us about your business.
My name is Nia Reid-Allen, and I'm the owner, creator, and founder of a lifestyle and apparel brand for mature aging women and new and experienced moms beyond the bump fourth trimester called Myrtle&Flossie. We operate mainly online and have always been, with the exception of taking advantage of, say, the summer weather, doing seasonal pop-up shops. And when we say seasonal, again, taking advantage of the summer weather, being outside, because it's a great way to interact and engage with, the customers who follow and support you online, but also extending brand reach and doing a lot of farmers markets and things and certain events, uh, that are happen around the warmer weather, as well as seasonal pop-ups, meaning um, for the holiday markets during the winter time. So that's most of the time, like maybe we'll be outside, say 6 to 8 times a year doing in-person pop-ups, but exist and operate all business online through our different sales channels, which is the Myrtle&Flossie website, Myrtle&Flossie Etsy shop. Now we have a TikTok shop. We got approved for Amazon, so we'll be uploading the things and getting our product up on Amazon. And right now, there's some irons in the fire working on supplying Walmart and a local Whole Foods where I'm at. So that's what's going on. And we started, or I should say, I started um, right after I gave birth to my daughter, which was in 2012. The concept came into play just from my experience with baby blues. And what that is, really quick, is it's a normal occurrence that happens with women after they give birth. Their hormones tend to fluctuate like 20 to 21 days. But if a woman goes past that normal hormone fluctuation after they will give birth, usually you're landing into the area of PPD, postpartum depression, which again is a common occurrence, but because it's not, so I guess it's not like a pretty thing or something to talk about, is readily spoken about. However, that's one thing that most moms, regardless of race, social economic status, or anything like that, we all will have in common, is that time period, the fourth trimester postpartum time period. And some women really struggle, and like I said, it's not often spoken about in the industry. And I felt that at the time when I was a new mom, and I happened to be considered an older mother at the time because I had my daughter when I was in my 30s, like mid 30s, 34, 35. And so they consider you advanced maternal age at that time. But for women who are aging, whether they become a mom or not, and women who are decide to have the title of mom, and they're going, whether they're new or experienced meaning they have already, several other children prior, and everyone goes through the fourth trimester. And like I said, if they want to have that title of being a mom, and if they're not having that title of being a mom, they still go through similar hormonal, physical, and mental changes in the body. And so Myrtle&Flossie is really kind of what I like to think, the answer to that, those needs and those pain points that come up during the time where, in the time where it's not often spoken about. And also too, in the fashion and beauty industry, when you get older, you're no longer really marketed towards as a woman, because, there's a narrative that you're not considered beautiful or as attractive or sexy or whatever like you were when you were in your 20s. And that's the furthest from the truth. But again, there are some things that change when you get older in your body. Menopause, perimenopause, again, these aren't pretty things. These P words aren't pretty words that we like to talk about, but it's something that unites a lot of women. You're going to go through, regardless. So Myrtle&Flossie was created as I was preparing for the birth of my daughter. The idea and the concept of Myrtle&Flossie was born in 2012. And I was in a discovery phase with my brand from 2012 up to 2014, kind of working out the kinks and whatnot. And I really honed in and focused on what I just explained just now, women who are aging and moms in beyond the bump fourth trimester. I kind of focused on and honed in more on that around 2016. So from time, I would say 2016 on is where it's been in the more of the active and steadily growth phase of my business. Myrtle&Flossie is named after both my maternal and paternal grandmother. Flossie is no longer here with us. May she rest in peace. And Myrtle is still here, kicking it 92 years young this year. And also, it happens to be the middle names of both me and my sister. So it's kind of a double meaning. I decided to name it after my maternal and paternal grandmothers because, as mother figures and the head matriarchs of my family, they had a lot of impact and positive impact and influence on me growing up. At one point, I lived with my grandmother Myrtle. Growing up, me, my mom, and my brother and sister, our family did at one point. So she's always been a major figure and factor in my life. And I remember my grandmother Flossie was that, I guess you could say, typical baking cookies and knitting booties, overly loving grandmother, and they just both had much of, and she had such a great sense of style and fashion. So I got that from her, and I got my kind of brass and, go get it attitude from Grandma Myrtle. And so I just wanted to pay homage to them, the two main matriarchs of my family, but also too, who's more maternal than grandmothers. They're the mothers of them all. Usually when you get to grandmother status, there's people under you where you created, kind of like legacy. So just to continue on that legacy, and also it unites my sister and I forever as well. And we're named after them, so I wanted to give that to them, the respect to the ultimate mothers and head matriarchs of my family.
What are some of your biggest challenges in growing your business?
Capital. It takes a lot, whether you're doing in-person pop-ups or even if you're operating online. Operating online is like, giving a whale a a Tic Tac sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like, or giving a whale a breath mint. Like, you get absolved in the space online. So what will segment you? What will make you stand out? There's a lot of things that go into that marketing. Well, where is the marketing the most effective? Usually paid ads and sponsor ads. Well, where do you get the money for that? That's some initial capital that's coming from either your paycheck or, you're leveraging or raising it, getting grants somehow. So it just that, and all of those type of things have to be happening. What I've realized in my experience, in tandem or parallel to why you're building inventory, production, marketing. Some of those things have to happen simultaneously, and it takes cash. And so, and funds, it's just what it is. So those were some of the earlier challenges and challenges that still remain. I mean, you learn how to get crafty and nifty. That's the name of the game as an entrepreneur. You constantly pivoting. You have to, because, there's no guarantee, and you make your brand, so to speak.
How did you overcome these challenges?
Grants and maybe participating in certain events where there was a nominal vendor fee and or it was free. So that would be a way to, continue to test the market or brand exposure, get out there and sell my products. And then that's a way to capture new customers. I'd have a sign-up sheet, which then I would, put that in my CRM, then I could use to convert later into, email campaigns, because now that I have, the customers, they may have met me at a in-person pop-up. So building that way, or using the in-person pop-ups, seasonal in-person pop-ups that we do, a few times a year. Like I said, taking advantage of the weather when it's warm, and then doing holiday markets, and capturing those individuals who come to us, and then putting it in our CRM, and then using that information later to try to mitigate and get around that obstacle.
How did you learn about the CNPP?
I learned about the CNPP program and helped and participated, I want to say back in 2021.
How has the CNPP helped in your business development?
I started out in the program, attending different virtual workshops, as well as I did a couple. I think I got a grant or a small or microloan through one of the workshops I found out about, and then I applied, and speaking to some of the mentors through the program. And that's what helped me, because I think yes, in 2022 I had my storefront, and so that was one of the things I was able to get a cash injection for through something I learned from a workshop at CNPP. And then I was able to utilize that to help, cover the spread for some months. And then, and so it goes and continues.
How is your business doing these days?
This is doing well these days. I've been able to focus and hone in more of like what exactly sells and what people really, identify my brand as and the problems that it solves with my niche specific demographic. And that's what I've just been focusing on, is that it seems that my capsule collection of ethically made and sustainably sourced, versatile, contemporary, and thrift apparel, the way I curated and created and put it together, people really resonate and like, their statement and basic everyday, everywhere, better basics and statement pieces that you can dress up or down. And for a busy woman lifestyle, or a mom with kids in tow, or a postpartum mom, that type of apparel style where it's just simple silhouettes that looks good on pretty much, most bodies, and then you can dress up or down and wear more than once. That works for my demographic and niche. So, I always put out a small capsule collection of apparel every season. And then I have my plant-based personal care, wellness, and consumable wellness, hygiene, and beauty products that have always been there, but have done, really well in the past few years. And people, come to me for that. So I just been focusing on what works and what really sells. And so I would attribute that to saying business is going great because I've been selling out of things. And if I'm making online sales at least like, twice a week, I consider that an accomplishment. I have customers not only in New Jersey, but in New York, in Michigan, Detroit, Michigan to be exact. Arizona seems to be a state that's picking up. Maryland is another state that I noticed that, and then I have a couple of repeat customers in that Maryland, DC, DMV area that I'm able to look at that through my back end on my website and analytics.
What milestones do you want to achieve going forward?
I'm looking this year and then subsequent years following the next few to get more into B2B business versus B2C. It's fine. And like I said, the pop-ups have helped, but I just don't want to be so labor intensive. And I feel like I'd have more customer reach and awareness if I'm in big box stores such as a Walmart or a Target. The Amazon, like I said, I just got approved as to have my store, an Amazon store. So I'm excited about that. I have to get on top of that. But I feel like that in the next 5 years is just that I want to do more B2B and be in bigger box stores to really increase the brand awareness. Right now, that's pretty much it. It's all wrapped in that. That's kind of, taking compartmentalizing and taking things in segment at a time. So right now, that's the one major goal, and I'm just trying to focus on that right now and working that way versus working in a micro level as well as macro. But I tend to sometimes have been in the past, and just from my experience, like my macro, but not having strategy set up in the place to get there. So I'm just becoming more micro in my goals and in what I want to achieve. So right now is B2B, and so far I've been doing that, and that's where I'm at for the next 5 years. Beyond that, I have no idea. I could change my mind at any moment.
Any advice you want to share with other entrepreneurs?
Perseverance, resilience. It's you gotta, the entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. I would just say keep going. What we focus on expands on either end of the spectrum. So if we focus on the negative, that's all we'll ever see and attract. I believe in that. I believe in universal law and things happening that, seen and unseen type of thing. And so I'd say the advice I would give is, keep going. You are the master of what you do, and you have to know that and lean into your strengths and what do and pay attention to the information you're receiving, said and unsaid, and use that and to keep going. You only get a distance by getting there. So you got to one foot in front of the other and keep going if this is what you still want to do.